Cathy Engelbert looks like she may be on her way out as WNBA commissioner. I mean, this is bad. This is really, really bad. You have WNBA owners and executives coming out and saying that they believe that Cathy Engelbert should be fired and removed as commissioner of the WNBA.
Well, it finally happened. The WNBA is in total chaos. And right in the middle of it all is Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, holding the gasoline can. After years of making rude comments about Caitlin Clark, fighting publicly with players, and facing constant backlash from fans, the league's owners have had enough. The quiet talks are over. Insiders say the owners are now openly discussing firing her. The players don't like her, the fans boo her whenever she shows up, and even the people who pay her salary are ready to end her time as commissioner.
Interesting one, because it seems like the WNBA owners hate Cathy Engelbert as much as the players do and as much as the fans do. It genuinely seems like there's not one person in the WNBA ecosystem.
So, the big question everyone's asking is this: is Cathy Engelbert the worst commissioner in American sports right now? Tell us what you think in the comments below, because all the signs are starting to show how badly things have gone under her watch. Let's take a closer look at how everything fell apart and how Caitlin Clark ended up being the final straw that pushed the owners to their limit.
Change is a must. Have the owners lost faith in Cathy Engelbert? She was obviously booed off. It says once you have that kind of fighting with your best players, one team exec said, it's a death spiral. Tensions brewed throughout the WNBA season as players and coaches expressed frustration with officiating, and as CBA negotiations intensified, but with the conversation shifted especially towards Engelbert during the semi-finals. Obviously, we know about Fee's exit interview and the Caitlin Clark talk, and Cathy Engelbert basically said it wasn't true, and we all know.
Cathy Engelbert is now in full panic mode. 4 months, she's been trying to turn one disaster after another into excuses: bad refereeing, angry players, broken relationships, weak PR statements, and her now famous comments brushing off Caitlin Clark's concerns. It's been non-stop chaos, and the league's patience is wearing thin. At first, only the players were speaking out, but now even the team owners are losing faith, and that's when you know things are falling apart. According to a recent ESPN report, several WNBA owners have quietly admitted they no longer trust her leadership. One even said, "If I had a vote, I'd replace her tomorrow." When your own bosses start talking like that, you know your time is almost up. Everything really began to collapse during the semifinals, when frustration with Engelbert boiled over behind the scenes. Players were already upset about unfair officiating, poor travel conditions, and stalled contract talks. Then, Engelbert made it all even worse with one careless comment.
I sat across from Cathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them.
Remember that viral interview with Nafisa Collier? She revealed that Cathy Engelbert ignored Caitlin Clark's safety concerns, calling the reports about targeting and rough play exaggerated. That was the last straw. Fans saw her response as uncaring, players thought it was dishonest, and the owners viewed it as a huge public relations disaster. One executive even said, once you start fighting with your own stars, it's a death spiral. And that's exactly what's happening. The WNBA commissioner has managed to push away the very players who helped make the league popular.
This has taken a crazy turn, and it seems as though the players are not willing to negotiate and get a deal done unless Cathy is out.
Cathy was already very unpopular with players long before this latest drama. They've blamed her for everything, from bad refereeing and no charter flights to weak marketing that doesn't take advantage of the league's growing popularity. But now, the anger isn't just coming from the players, it's coming from the team owners, too. And that's the kind of problem no amount of public relations can fix.
I think it's pretty clear that the players do not trust Cathy Engelbert. And it's actually been clear for a while. And I can tell you that I have had private conversations with players, and both former and present, and many of them have expressed the exact same thing that Nafisa Collier said. And if you notice across social media, from Angel Reese to all different players, they were all doing this. The players and the owners and league leadership are at odds because they feel like so far these CBA negotiations have very much reflected that mentality.
Here's where things really started to go wrong. The owners are angry about how Engelbert has managed the league's money. Back in 2022, she proudly announced that she had raised $75 million to help the WNBA grow. Sounds great at first, until you look closer. To get that money, she sold 16% of the league's ownership to outside investors. That gave private companies a say in how the league is run, and instead of helping, it's made everything more complicated. Several owners have said the move completely backfired, calling it a bureaucratic mess. One insider even told reporters, "That capital raise handcuffed us more than it helped us. It's too messy now." In other words, what was supposed to be a plan for growth ended up limiting the league's freedom instead.
I'm pretty sure a deal is not going to get done. Not if Cathy Engelbert is the one leading these negotiations. A deal is absolutely not going to get done because the players have no respect for her. He is probably thinking the same thing that I'm thinking, in that this leadership can't continue if it's like this. And so this is her and the players' way of getting Cathy Engelbert about the past.
And then there's Cathy's personality, the thing that seems to make everything even worse. Several executives have described her leadership style as condescending and dismissive. One owner said she talks down to everyone whenever she's questioned, which only creates more tension instead of solving problems. Think about it, she's managed to upset the players, frustrate the owners, and still acts like everyone works for her. One frustrated executive even admitted, "The owners hate her too." That's not a rumor anymore, it's a fact. Her only real supporter left is NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. He's the one person still defending her, but even his support is starting to sound weak. When asked recently about the backlash, Silver said Cathy has overseen some of the strongest growth in WNBA history. Sure, that sounds good until you realize the league's success isn't because of her. It's because of stars like Clark, Angel Reese, and the new generation of players who've boosted ticket sales and TV ratings. The truth is, the WNBA is thriving despite Engelbert, not because of her. The fans know it, the players know it, and now even the owners are admitting it. One owner summed it up perfectly: she's done okay on the business side, but she's lost the locker room. And once that happens, it's game over.
If you fire her now, it's admitting weakness. It's a terrible look for the NBA, another owner said. "I can't stand what Collier did. That was a private conversation. It makes me not want to fire her, even though I think she should be fired." Yeah, that's a pretty good point. Like, even if Cathy should be fired, the NBA aren't going to fire Cathy Engelbert because it makes them look weak.
So why hasn't she been fired yet? 2 reasons: optics and ego. Adam Silver reportedly doesn't want to remove her because it would make the NBA look bad for hiring her in the first place. One owner even told reporters, "If you fire her now, it looks like the NBA made a mistake." That's a terrible look. So, Cathy Engelbert isn't being protected because she's doing a great job, she's being protected because firing her would embarrass her boss. Think about how crazy that is. The commissioner of a major sports league is keeping her job not because of results, but because of someone else's pride.
One of the lasting images of the WNBA season was Engelbert getting relentlessly booed by the crowd at Phoenix's Mortgage Matchup Center during the Aces Championship Trophies presentation. A smaller group of fans continued the ruckus as she walked off the court and into a tunnel. They was booing her, they was flicking her off, all types of stuff. She got absolutely clowned.
And while all this chaos is happening, Cathy Engelbert is out here giving interviews saying, "I've never been a quitter." That's ironic, because she's saying it to a league that's practically begging her to step down. But here's the real ticking time bomb: the Collective Bargaining Agreement, CBA. This might be what finally forces the owners to act. The current deal expires at the end of this month, and both sides are still nowhere close to a new agreement. Insiders say there's zero chance it gets done before Halloween. The problem isn't just about money anymore, it's about trust, or really, the complete lack of it. Players don't trust Engelbert to negotiate fairly, and owners don't trust her to keep the league out of another PR disaster. One executive put it bluntly, "I don't know if the relationship can even be repaired at this point." The CBA talks are supposed to deal with major issues like salaries, travel, player safety, and revenue sharing. But both sides are miles apart, And right in the middle of all that chaos sits Cathy Engelbert, trying to manage it all like a substitute teacher struggling to calm a classroom riot.
Cathy Engelbert still under major fire, and I don't know if she's going to be able to get out of this. This is a really, really bad look. The fact that you even said what you said about Caitlin Clark, you must have bumped your head. You had to bump your head, lose your mind.
One owner said it best. At this rate, we'll finish the CBA the same day pigs fly over Madison Square Garden. The trust is gone, the patience has run out, and the league is completely stuck. The players blame the commissioner. The owners blame the commissioner. And the fans? They're just wondering how much longer Caitlin Clark and the other stars, the ones actually saving the WNBA, have to carry the league while the person in charge keeps setting it on fire. Even the officiating mess falls squarely on Cathy Engelbert's list of failures. All season long, fans and players have complained about bad calls, unnecessary technical fouls, and clear bias. But instead of admitting mistakes, the league brushed it off, saying it reviews officiating holistically, which is just corporate talk for we're not punishing anyone. And who came up with that system? Cathy Engelbert. So when the same referees who messed up one game were back 2 nights later making the same mistakes in the playoffs, who got blamed? You guessed it, Cathy. The WNBA keeps acting like everything's fine, but insiders are saying what everyone's thinking. The league is quietly falling apart behind the scenes.
The one thing as a very long-term sports fan I know is that officiating and refereeing is always at the top of a fan's list, of the media's list. Obviously, we work hard on training. We work hard on consistency. Obviously, not every, they're humans. Looking at technology. Basketball is a little more complex than tennis, for instance, around technology of officiating. So we're looking at a variety of different dimensions.
Now that even the team owners are calling for her removal, it's no longer a question of if Cathy Engelbert will be fired, it's a question of when. The NBA will probably wait until the new CBA talks are finished before making a move. Why? Because Adam Silver doesn't want it to look like he's giving in to pressure. So instead of facing the crisis directly, they're pretending everything's fine, hoping the smoke clears on its own. But everyone can see the building is burning, the players are furious. The owners have lost patience. The fans are tired. And Cathy Engelbert seems completely out of touch with reality. This isn't just bad management anymore, it's a total leadership breakdown. Behind closed doors, owners are finally saying what fans have been shouting for months. Cathy Engelbert has lost control of the WNBA, she's lost the players' trust, the owners' confidence, and the fans' respect. The only person still defending her is Adam Silver, who seems more worried about how it looks than how it's going. According to several reports, owners now describe her leadership as exhausting, condescending, and tone-deaf. One insider didn't hold back, saying, "The league feels like it's running on autopilot." And honestly, that's being generous, because autopilot still means someone knows where they're going.
One exec said, if I had a vote, I would probably ask for a replacement. Here it says, ESPN canvass WNBA owners, execs, and other industry sources on the turmoil surrounding Cathy Engelbert and more. All right, Cathy, man, you back in the news. You thought it was over. Nope, you're right back here in the news.
Under Engelbert's leadership, the WNBA has become a case study in missed opportunities. Caitlin Clark brought the kind of excitement every league dreams of: sold-out arenas, record-breaking TV ratings, booming merchandise sales, and millions of new fans. Yet instead of embracing the moment, the league treated it like a problem to manage rather than a success to celebrate. And when Engelbert dismissed the backlash over how Clark was being treated, calling it media exaggeration, she didn't just make a mistake, she destroyed her own credibility. Fans saw Caitlin getting shoved, hacked, and taunted on live TV while the commissioner acted like nothing was wrong. Her comments weren't just tone-deaf, they showed how completely out of touch she's become with both her players and the audience. That was the breaking point. Players rolled their eyes, fans booed her at games, and owners started asking a serious question: can Cathy Engelbert even survive another season? One executive told ESPN, "Once you alienate your biggest stars, there's no coming back." And he's right. When the players driving your ratings don't trust your leadership, every contract meeting turns into a standoff, every PR event becomes damage control, and every fan discussion becomes a reminder of your failures. This is the same commissioner who defended referees while players mocked the officiating as a joke. Engelbert even doubled down, claiming the refs were being unfairly criticized. But when highlight reels show Clark getting hit with no foul calls, that's not defending your officials, that's gaslighting your fans.
We've been saying for 2 years that it's way too physical, all the fouling, the refs are terrible. But the funny thing is, when Clark was the only one getting the living hell beat out of her, nobody had anything to say. No coaches, no Cathy Engelbert, no Nafisa Colliers, no veteran players. Everybody act like it was all smooth and good when it was only Clark, and that is what I do not like.
Even the team owners are now quietly admitting that Cathy Engelbert's leadership can't be saved. They'll praise her business skills one moment and criticize her people skills the next, and that's the heart of the problem. Cathy runs the WNBA like a corporate spreadsheet, while the players and owners see it as a community built on connection, fairness, and representation. She focuses on investors, image, and profits. They focus on people. As one insider put it, she talks numbers, we talk people. That's the disconnect tearing the league apart. The upcoming CBA will decide the next decade of women's basketball. If Engelbert mishandles it, or worse, if talks collapse, the WNBA could face a work stoppage. That means no games, no paychecks, and no progress. The last CBA was signed in 2020, back when Clark was still in high school. Since then, everything about the league has changed: the audience, social media reach, sponsorships, and visibility. Everything's grown except the league's imagination. That's what has the owners furious. They're watching the biggest boom in women's sports history unfold while their own commissioner fumbles the easiest win imaginable. One executive said it best: if the WNBA had actually embraced Clark the way they should have, we'd be printing money right now. And he's right. Instead of celebrating her and using her star power to grow the game worldwide, Engelbert treated her like a problem. Clark should have been the face of the brand, the reason young girls pick up a basketball. Instead, Cathy downplayed her impact and pushed away the fans who came with her. That's not just a missed chance, it's professional failure. Her obsession with controlling the message instead of building on momentum has cost the league millions and hurt its reputation. Now, that pride is catching up to her. Owners are holding private meetings, executives are leaking frustrations to reporters, and even sponsors are quietly expressing concern. When everyone, from players to investors, loses faith in your leadership, your organization is in free fall. The signs are everywhere. Playoff ratings dropped after the Clark controversy, player interviews have grown colder, and the same media that once celebrated the WNBA's growth is now questioning if it was ever real. As one insider put it, this isn't about basketball anymore. It's about power, ego, and who gets the last word. And for once, it might not be Cathy Engelbert. The NBA is watching closely. The players are done waiting. The owners are restless. The fans are fed up. Every time Cathy tries to defend herself, she only makes things worse, claiming the officiating is fine while fans see obvious mistakes, insisting Clark isn't being targeted while social media shows endless proof that she is, bragging about growth while the league falls apart inside. You can't lead a league when you're the most disliked person in every room, and that's what Cathy Engelbert has become. Even the usually quiet players and coaches are now speaking out, some openly hinting it's time for new leadership. One executive summed it up perfectly: the WNBA can't move forward until Cathy steps aside. And they're right. You can't build the future of women's basketball with leadership stuck in the past. The question now isn't if Cathy Engelbert will be fired, it's when. The owners are ready. The players are ready. The fans are begging for it. The only person still in denial is Cathy herself. Do you think Cathy Engelbert is the worst commissioner in American sports right now? Let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next.